Hello and good morning friends, welcome once again to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, this session, that is this lecture of ours, is going to be very interesting because from today onwards we are going to start a very new series, and this series is on special education, and under this very series today we are going to discuss on children with special need. I hope that all the students who are pursuing their studies in special education, this topic is going to be very interesting for them. And dear friends, for this very discussion today we have with us in our studios Dr. Nilima Asthana. Dr. Asthana is assistant professor in Lady Irwin College, University of Delhi, as well as I think she is the right person to talk on this topic, because she is the coordinator of she is the coordinator in the Department of Special Education. So I firmly believe that she is the person who can explain us in detail what are the children with special need, what are the needs of those special children, what care should be given to them, and many other things which she is going to explain this very topic. So first of all, I would like to welcome our guest, Dr. Nilima Asthana. Ma'am, welcome to the EduCit lecture. As you yourself has selected a very important topic, I would say, from the students' point of view, as well as for all the parents who have special children. So over to you, ma'am. How care should be taken, and what things should be taken into mind while taking care of the children with special needs?
Thank you, Geetika. I am going to speak on this topic in this session, and today, as I am introducing the topic, so I think I should give you general idea about what is special education, what is special needs of these children who could be called as children with special needs, because from in my view all the children are having good potential, and if we take up this segment of the society, we can say that these are the children, these are the individuals who are having some special potentials, abilities, and those potentials and abilities should be addressed well, and these children and individuals should be well included in the society, so that we should not be wasting the potential of these individuals. So I am going to start with my topic, that is children with special needs. So children with special needs are those children who, due to their mental and physical limitations, need extra care and support to reach their maximum potential. And you would have watched the movie Tare Zameen Pe, and the way the child has done in that movie, all of us know about that. We know that these children have some different potential, and we should address those potentials, and we should try to enhance those potential of those children by giving them extra care and by addressing their needs. So children with special needs are special children, there is no doubt, and they can do wonders in their own field. There are so many examples and success stories of this specific field, and I will discuss those success stories in my different lectures, another lecture. So today I am just giving you some introductory aspects of special needs and special education. So special education, we take the name as special education. It is of course special, but it is not that much special. It is actually special in the sense that we are specifically designing curriculum and methodology to address the needs of these children. So special education is a part of regular education and not a separate identity, and our society will have to understand this point, that there is nothing like special or exclusive or something very different. Everybody has to be included in the society. Special education is instruction designed to respond to the unique characteristic of the children who have needs which can't be met by regular school curriculum. And we all must know that still our country is lagging far behind from so many other countries, and those countries are doing wonders in this field, while our country is picking up the momentum, but still a lot have to be done in this field. According to federal regulations, special education means specifically designed instruction at no cost to parents, and it has to be emphasized here that we should not tax the parents to take care of their special child. To meet the unique needs of the child with disability, including instruction conducted in the classroom, at home, in hospitals and institutions and other related settings. I would like to give a very small and simple example of our city or of our country, where a child with having some different kind of needs cannot work or cannot move on the roads of the cities. For example, if a blind child needs a kind of specific path, the child or an individual will not be able to walk on that street or on that footpath, because there is no such guide, nothing is guiding the child, and the specific path is not there, and if the path is there, something is there to hinder that path. So there are so many minute things which have to be kept in mind while addressing the needs of our children. And there are so many issues like how to train the people, how to train the contractors, how to train the laborers to construct right kind of things for the children, for the individuals with having some special needs. There are different kinds of education we can include in special education. For example, one is regular school education. Each and every child or child is going to school, and that is regular kind of school education, where the child is attending the class, attending the other activities of the school normally. Then integrated education, where the child with special needs could join the regular school, but here the child needs to change himself or herself according to the requirements of the school. It is quite true that we sometimes arrange some facilities in the regular schools, but we ask the child to change himself or herself to accommodate in the environment of the school. So that is integrated education. Here the school is not changing itself, but trying to change the child with special needs to get accommodated in that school. So the term came into existence, that is inclusive education. Inclusive education, as the name suggests, everybody should included in the same kind of environment. So the practice of education that assures that all students with disabilities participate with other students in all aspects of school, and inclusive education sees no role for special education either as a separate system of education or as a supportive system of education. So inclusive education is that practice which gives assurance to each and every child or every participant of that system that proper care will be taken to address the needs. For example, each and every child, whether normal or special, has some specific needs. We cannot say that the children who are coming in regular schools are alike, because there is a principle of individual differences in the development of the child, and those differences are addressed by the education system. Then why there is a need to segregate those children who are some special needs? We can address the needs of those specific children in the normal environment, and that is the demand of the society, because we want to include each and everyone to develop normally, to grow normally, to live normally in the society. And the society is meant for everyone and not only for the exclusive one or stronger persons of the society. Through this picture, through this diagram, I would like to tell you about the philosophy of inclusion. You can see the stars, you can see the blue stars and yellow stars. Both the stars are very much intermingled in this system. You cannot say that there is a classroom of 30 students and one row or two benches are reserved for special education, special needs children. So, this is the classroom where all the students are well included and get the facilities of the classroom. This picture clearly shows that blue stars are sitting apart and yellow stars are sitting apart. So, this is a kind of arrangement which is called as integrated system of education, where the children are allowed to sit in the class, but special seats are reserved for those children who are having some special needs. It is true that at times a child with having some hearing impairment needs some kind of equipment and some kind of arrangements in the classroom. That is true. In that case, we can allow the child to sit at that particular place, but it should not be followed as a policy. Then this is the special segregated classrooms where all the blue stars are sitting together, all the yellow stars are sitting together. There is no intermingling between these two. So, this is known as segregation, and on this philosophy we are still this philosophy is still being followed by so many educational system where there are special schools meant for special children. And we can very well understand the feeling of those children who are being segregated on the pretext of certain disabilities. We can sense that it will not be helpful for them to grow like a normal child. They will certainly have certain kind of complexes, certain kind of differences. They will feel certain kind of biasness in the society, and this type of situation should not be and must not be allowed to develop in the society. The special education was converted to inclusive education, and a very important conference held in Spain in the year 1994, and that was held in at a place known as Salamanca. And this conference is very much important to move ahead towards inclusive setup. In this conference, more than 300 participants participated, and they represented 92 governments and 25 international organizations. They met in Salamanca in Spain, and the conference was held from 7th to 10th June 1994. And that was the beginning of a very robust kind of initiative in the field of education with special needs. So, to further the objective of education for all, the Salamanca conference held to strengthen the objective of education for all by considering the fundamental policy shifts required to promote the approach of inclusive education, namely enabling schools to serve all children, particularly those with special education needs. So, the major objective was the education for all. And when we talk about all, it means all, whether the child is having some special abilities or disabilities or special needs. Each and every child has a right to participate in the education system. And in our country, the Right to Education Act 2009 was the major achievement in this regard, because it safeguards the interests to a very large extent of those children who are having some special needs. So, the conference adopted the Salamanca Statement on Principles, Policy and Practice in Special Needs Education and a framework for action. It is not only to frame the policy, but the time is there to take some action, and it is not possible unless until there is some definite framework of action. These documents are informed by the principle of inclusion, So, the policy or framework was based on the principles of inclusion by recognition of the need to work towards a school for all, institutions which include everyone, celebrate differences, support learning and respond to individual needs. And here I would like to give you a very good example of my college where we are having a child study center. And in that center, in my next presentation, I will definitely show you the pictures also. In that particular center, all the children learn together, they sit together, they learn together, they play together, and you will be amazed to see them the way they perform in various activities. The child does not feel any difference, and all the children learn together, and during their festivals or programs, you will see that all the children perform together. And when the children learn together right from the beginning, they never create this kind of feeling that that particular child is different and I should not be talking to that particular child. So, and that system is quite old in our college, and it is a very good success of successful story, you can say. And the children with special needs, they definitely get the facility of specialist, therapist, special people, but still they learn together. So, every child has a fundamental right to education and must be given the opportunity to achieve and maintain an acceptable level of learning. Every child has unique characteristics, interests, abilities and learning needs. Education system should be designed and educational programs implemented to take into account the wide diversity of these characteristics and needs. So, it is these are the basic aspects on which the program has to be designed. So, those with special educational needs must have access to regular school, which should accommodate them within a child-centered pedagogy capable of meeting these needs. Regular schools with this inclusive orientation are the most effective means of combating discriminatory attitudes, creating welcoming communities, building an inclusive society, and achieving education for all. Moreover, they provide an effective education to the majority of children and improve the efficiency and ultimately the cost effectiveness of the entire education system. It is definitely very much cost effective when we are having the regular school for everyone. We can provide the facility to children who need some special facility, but we can cut the cost on the opening and maintaining the schools, the special schools. We can change the attitude of teachers, the principals, the students. We can create welcoming communities, because parents are very much disturbed who are having children of having some special needs, because they do not get right kind of school for their children. And in that way, they can provide a very effective education. Here, the children, when they learn together, they will respect each other and they will not feel any difference amongst themselves. So, in this venture, all the governments came together to give the highest policy and budgetary priority to improve their education system for all children. And you will be surprised to know that till the last census, there was no such very clear-cut guidelines were there to identify the population who is which is having some special needs. And there is always some kind of activism is required to achieve the objective. And moving forward, now the budget also has been kept for these children, the education of these children, the health care of these children. So, highest policy and budgetary priority has been given to improve their education systems for all children. The role of government is also important to adopt as a matter of law or policy the principle of inclusive education, enrolling all children in regular schools. In our country, RT 2009 is a step towards this direction. And it is also important to develop demonstration projects and encourage exchanges with countries having experience with inclusive schools. Encourage and facilitate the participation of parents, communities and organizations of persons with disabilities in the planning and decision making processes concerning provisions for special educational needs. And this can only be possible when we as an individual will change our attitude towards the issue of children with special needs. We should be avoiding in labeling these children. It is very derogatory to call a person by his disability. So, it is important for us to change our attitude, our perspective, our thinking process, and to develop a progressive kind of attitude towards these individuals. And international community is also doing a lot in this direction. For this, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, shortly or popularly known as UNESCO, the United Nations Children Fund UNICEF, United Nations Development Program UNDP and the World Bank came together to endorse the approach of inclusive schooling and to support the development of special needs education as an integral part of all educational programs. It is not only school education, but it is for each and every type of education, whether professional, technical, medical or any type of education. This kind of inclusion should be there, and to strengthen their inputs for technical cooperation as well as to reinforce their cooperation and networking for more efficient support to the expanded and integrated provision of special needs education. Here it is important to mention that unless until technical advancement is not promoted, we cannot strengthen this field, because at times we need a very specific kind of technology to support these children. And as we can see that the revolution in the information technology and communication technology, we can certainly develop so many software, so many specific things for these children, so that they could do well in their profession. So, what is the program? It is known as individualized educational program, because it is important to make specific program for a specific child. It can be done for children who are having similar special needs, but it is known as individualized education program. Here typical modification of the standard school curriculum is required. Changes in terms of standard school curriculum means the child may not be able to study all the subjects. So, we can change the content, we can change the method of instructions, we can change the instructional materials, we can change the expected rate of learning, and it is important for the success of the child to teach according to his or her own needs. So, instructional material should be very much specific according to the need of the child. For example, if the children with some, if the child is having some visual impair or totally blind, we can provide the material in braille, and there is due to advancement in technology, there are so many softwares which can convert the speech into text or text into speech. So, that will be very helpful for those students. So, instructional material should be A very important aspect to be modified according to the need. Method of instruction, the teacher should be specially trained to teach these children, and the teacher must go according to the rate of learning and understanding of the child. Inclusion of other supportive services in educational program is also important, like services of speech therapist, audiologist, physical and occupational therapist, psychologists, physicians, counselors, special educators, etc. It is known as the team, and that team can be, there could be one team which can be catered to different educational or centers or schools. Now, the delivery of special education, it is also very important. How to deliver that special education means the special education in inclusive setup. So, enrollment in regular classes where teacher takes help of specialists, special instruction for part of the day in the resource room, full time placement in special education classes, placement in homebound hospitals or residential school programs. So, these are four you can say different conditions. First is enrollment in regular classes. The child is sitting in the regular class and the teacher is taking help of specialist. Here according to the need of the child, specialist or special educator could be called and could be supported in that specific regular class. Here we can say the child is having not very much different kind of needs and could be adjusted in the classroom. Then the second type of situation is where special instruction for part of the day in resource room. I will tell you about the resource room in my next lectures. Resource room basically is the room where all the specific arrangements are made to help the specific need of the child. So, it may also be possible to keep the child for few hours in this resource room, so that the child could be able to understand or work well whatever has been done in the regular classroom. The third kind of situation could be full time placement in special education classes. At times it becomes quite difficult for those children who are having very specific needs and cannot be supported in the regular classroom. And those needs, if are not addressed, the child will not take interest in the regular classroom either. So, full time placement is required in special education classes. And the fourth adjustment is when the child's health is so very much serious and requires attention always. In that case, either the child is kept in the hospitals or homebound hospitals or residential school, where the child gets assistance for health as well as for education. So, these are the four different situations, but we should always try to mainstream the child, means we should try from the bottom to come to the top. So, this is the I talked to you about the role of schools. Now, it is also important to understand what is the role of community, what is the role of the family, what is the role of the state. As I discussed earlier and told you about the change in attitude, and that is the most important aspect to address the need to become sensitive towards the needs of the child. We should have the right kind of attitude. So, society's awareness of needs and rights of people with disability is very important. The society must be aware of the policies, the acts, the legal aids which is there and which are being provided by the government. There are so many different ways through which it could be addressed. The school environment should be very much appropriate. School environment consists of the student, the teacher, the parent, the principal and the community people. Flexible admission policy in higher education and professional courses. Flexible admission policy is very important to admit children with special needs in professional courses also, because at times they can do wonders in that particular field with some little assistance of according to their specific needs. Employment opportunities must be generated. There should be effort from the side of government as well as the private organizations to create employment opportunities for them. Then the legislations should be very much clear and should be known to the people. Policies and programs must be developed, right kind of policies, right kind of programs for children with special needs. Whenever we frame policies and programs, we should not forget to include the people for whom we are framing the policies and the programs, because their perspective is very important in framing the policies and programs. Only they can tell us about their needs, and accordingly policies should be framed. And better understanding and support from the family, and that is very important, because unless until family is supportive, nothing could be done. As we see that in our country, due to poverty, illiteracy and lack of an awareness, families just ignore the child who is having some special needs. They just do not do anything for them, and it is the duty of the society, the government and the people who are in this field to make them understand their rights and the facilities available for them. Special education is essential to optimize the potential of individual for continuous growth and lifelong learning, and educator must be sensitive towards the needs of the child. It is more important to be sensitive rather than having so many degrees, so many you can say having researchers in this field. It is more important to be sensitive towards the needs of the child. For that, it is important to identify the requirements, and identification could be done at the time of the birth, after birth, and if identification is to be done, the role of the hospitals and the family is very important. And when the parents take the child to the school should be able to tell them the specific requirement. They should be able to identify the specific requirement of the child. Now, the selection of activities at various levels, at family level, at school level, at community level, it is important to select the right kind of activities for them. And it is quite easy that it should be done, but the more difficult is how it should be done, and for that how it is important to have the will. Emphasis should be on the abilities and not on the disabilities. As I told you when I begin this lecture, that we should focus on their abilities rather than their disabilities. For example, if the child is able to do a wonderful craft work, we should be focusing on that specific activity, specific potential of the child. If the child is very much good and takes interest in musical or other art and craft activity, we should be able to identify the interest of the child and should be supporting the child in that particular field. But there is this very specific need for early intervention, because as we all know that with the development of the mind, the physical development, cognitive development, social development, it is important to give the intervention right in the beginning, so that the shape, the right kind of shape should be given to the various development of the various domains of the development of the child. Importance of early intervention in setting of newer and reachable goals. Child learns to live with and fight with the disability, and parents support accordingly. So, we can frame our objectives according to the potential of the child, and those objectives will be reachable. Child will learn to live with the disability and will fight with the disability, and parents will support accordingly. It is also important to understand the communication skill of the individual, self-care skills of the individual, health and safety issues, social skills, self-direction skills, functional academics of the child. How much the child could be able to communicate, how much the child could be able to take care of himself or herself, how much safety should be given, how much health care is required for the child and which type of health care is required for the child. What are the social skills, because social skills are very important after a certain stage. Self-direction means how much the child could be made independent, and functional academics of the child. We have to make the child functionally active. So, all the functional academic of the child is important to be understood. There are few tips for the educator. Educator should be patient and calm, give child own time to accomplish work. So, unless until the educator is patient and calm, he or she will not give the right time, right duration to the child to accomplish the work. Educator should break the task into small one. Breaking of the task is important to boost the morale of the child, because it increases the motivation of the child. For example, if the child is asked to complete the drawing of any object which has been given to the child, we can break that specific activity into smaller part. We could say the child draw this much, half of the object. So, half of the object, when the child will be able to draw half of the object, he will gain a sense of achievement. So, it will boost the motivation of the child. Give appropriate reinforcement at every step. Each and every reached step should be reinforced by giving the child some kind of gift or prize or verbal reinforcement. The child educator should be able to read the mood of the child. Actually, it is important for the educator, while the educator, whether a special or a regular educator. The educator should mobilize the community support and provide conducive and least restrictive environment to the child. This term is very should be explained here. Least restrictive environment, it means there should not be any hurdle for the child in accomplishing the work. For example, if the child is having some problem in walking, so we should not be having a very crowded class. The class should be clear, so that the child should get the way to walk in the class and walk freely in the class, to get the colors, to get the material, to accomplish the work. So, that is known as least restrictive environment. There should not be raw edges of the table, there should not be very those type of objects which could hurt the child. So, least restrictive could be made as far as possible and should be according to the need of the children. Now, there are few related terms which should be made clear for the to understand the special education or special needs children. The first is exceptional child. Those children who have physical, mental, behavioral or sensory characteristics that differ from majority of children such that they require special education and related services to develop their maximum capacity. So, exceptional means who really needs some different kinds of facilities. It may be related to their physical needs, mental needs, behavioral or sensory needs. Then the next term is impairment. Impairment refers to diseased or defective tissues. For example, if the child is not able to see, it means some kind of defect is there related to their eyes, related to the eyes. It may be overt or may be related to nerves. So, that is known as impairment and refers to diseased or defective tissues. Then disability. It refers to reduction of function or the absence of particular body part or organ, and disability could occur at any point of time. It may be due to some accident also. A normal person could become disabled. So, it refers to reduction of function or the absence of particular body part or organ. Next is disorder and dysfunction. It is often substituted for disability. Then next is handicap. It refers to the problems that impaired or disabled people have when interacting with their environment. So, if there is some disability, it may create handicap to achieve certain objectives of the life, and these are related to the problems which the individual faces while interacting with the environment. So, handicap has to do with the effect of disability or impairment. Now, I just told you about certain common and general terms regarding special education and special needs children. It is important to understand these terms in the view of history of special education, because inclusion is a very recent term, maybe 15 years old or 10 years old, in our country maybe 10 years old. So, there is a history of special education, and history we can discuss in two different aspects. One is the history which is worldwide, and one is the history which is which could be dealt with the context of our country. So, history is said to be a chronological description of the persons, institutes and societies in terms of their existence. History of special education in terms of growth and development of the ways and means in its delivery. So, in abroad, it was started before 75. Children with disabilities were regularly excluded from public schools, despite some laws set since 1980. They had the option to remain at home or to be institutionalized. Even children with moderate disabilities who enrolled were likely to drop out before graduating high school. In the US, it began after World War II. One of the first organizations was the American Association on Mental Deficiency, which held its first convention in 1947. By early 1950, fueled by the civil rights movement, a number of other parent organizations were formed, including the United Cerebral Palsy Association, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and the John F. Kennedy's Panel on Mental Retardation. During the 1960s, the increasing level of school access was established for children with disabilities at the state and local levels. Due to the legislation, more recent history of special education in America commenced with congressional approval of the Education for All Handicapped Children Act on November 29, 1975. This law was intended to support states and localities in protecting the rights of meeting the individual needs of and improving the results for infants, toddlers, children and youth with disabilities and their families. It was effective since 1977, becoming the legislative foundation for federal funding of special education, requiring public school to provide free appropriate public education to students with a wide range of disabilities. It also mandated that school districts provide such schooling in the least restricted environment known as in short LRE. In 1983, the law was extended to include parents and information centers at the state level. In 1986, early intervention programs for infants and education services for preschoolers were added. In 1990, services and eligibility were again expanded and Individual with Disability Education Act was passed. So, ultimate impact in 1970s, US schools educated only 1 in 5 children with disability. Many states had law that excluded children with major disabilities such as deafness, blindness and mental retardation. So, the most recent landmark is of 2001, No Child Left Behind law becomes enacted, calling for all students to become proficient in reading and maths by year 2014. The history of special education in India also speaks on the same line. It could be discussed before 47 and after 47. In Vedic era glaring example of Ashtavakra is there, and it was the era of exclusion, extermination and abduction, ridicule and amusement and entertainment, seen as a sign of an evil spirit. Ashoka the Great and Harshvardhan established hospitals for disabled. In Islam, there is a kind of zakat and which is being used for the education of children with special needs. Shivaji and Ahilya known for their charitable act for disabled and poor. First school for deaf was established in Bombay in 1883, blind at Amritsar in 87, for deaf and blind at Mysore in 1901, and first government school was established in 1906 at Lahore. When India got independence, we had only 28 schools for deaf and 32 for blind and 3 for mentally retarded. In Article 45 of Constitution, free and compulsory education till age 14 years has been discussed. Kothari Commission also discussed about that. NPE 1986 stated to expand the facilities so that handicapped children study in regular schools. For expansion of NPE integrated education with disabled children, IEDC was implemented in December 1974. In 1980, there were 18,170 and 200 schools for deaf, blind and mentally retarded respectively. 180, 170 and 200 schools for deaf, blind and mentally retarded were there. In 1985, District Primary Education DPEP was launched. NP 1986 talked about equal opportunity. Integrated education for the disabled in 1987 for encouraging all schools in a neighborhood to small children with disabilities. The Persons with Disability Act in 1995, it covers all aspects of education and economic rehabilitation of disabled, and Rehabilitation Council of India or RCI is the result of that. In 1999, government launched National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disability Act. In 2000, Government of India launched Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarv Shiksha means all the children should be included. In 2002, government introduced a new article 21A, right to education, free education of the age 6 to 14, and it was enacted in 2009. 2005, Government of India in Right to Education Bill NCF with various features, National Curriculum Framework was framed, and it talked about in detail of the education with special needs. In 2006, the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities has been introduced, and in 2007, government also highlight the need for mainstreaming of the persons with disability. So, India was among the first country to sign and ratify the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which came in effect on 3rd May 2008. About 2 lakh beneficiaries provide other rehabilitation services annually through about 700 NGOs during 2004 to 8. A new scheme launched on 1st April 2008 to provide incentives to private sector employers for every persons with disability employed on or after 1st April 2008. So, first day cover stamp and 2 coins released on 4th January 2009 on the occasion of Louis Braille bicentenary function. India is a signatory to the Bivako Millennium Framework plus 5 adopted by UN Commission for Asia and Pacific for action towards an inclusion, barrier free and rights based society. It signed memorandum of association with the government of Mauritius on issues relating to persons with disabilities and senior citizens. So, we can conclude that history of special education in our country has almost passed through the same phases of exclusion, institutionalization in special schools and integration before finally accepting inclusion of all types of the children with disabilities in the mainstream of general education. The developing country like India with its meager sources is unable to attain the desired target without the activeness of citizens towards disabilities and disabled education. So, here I would like to say that we should all change our attitude to make inclusive society and should make this mission a success. Thank you.
With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you so very much. I hope that today we are done with this portion, and in later sessions also we would be discussing more on the children with special need, as it was only an introductory lecture. So, how the emergence or the need for taking care for the children with the special need, it was founded through this lecture. Ma'am, we have seen that as for the children with the special needs, this area is emerging, as you said. In India also, though constant work is being done, but still we are behind somewhere.
We are far behind, far behind.
So, what do you think? Are we not getting such facilities for
Actually,
promotion?
Government is giving good amount of fund through NGOs, through government organizations, but we are not having that much of potential force to address the needs of children or individuals with special needs, because it is not only education. Each and every field should come forward to help those children. As I told you earlier, that our labor class, not skilled, not literate to address the needs, because the building is constructed by these people. They should be made aware of these issues. And the recent initiative of the Skill Development Commission is a very good initiative towards this direction. We can have the right kind of force to construct the nation.
And what do you think, do we have proper frames and policies under which we think that the care should be taken regarding the special children?
Policies are there, framework is there. We have a very important organization known as Rehabilitation Council of India is there, but as I told you, the right kind of attitude and sensitivity is required to promote this and to make the society inclusive. Have you seen the Delhi Metro? It is totally disabled free. So, if we can make Delhi Metro, so why not we can have right kind of schools? You can send the school to school, send the child to school, but the child is not able to go to the first floor or second floor because of lack of facility.
Or we can also say that there is a lack of sensitivity
and the will.
And the will, because if I have a child with a special need, then only I feel so that the child needed special care. But if we talk about the general public, the people are less concerned.
Less concerned, very much, least concerned. You can say, you in the capital of nation, you can find the very not a very good situation. We have to do a lot, because constructing a small ramp does not make a sense.
Does not make a sense. So what do you feel at the ground level, what should we do, or what do you feel that is the particular area we are lacking in that?
Education is one of that. Right kind of specialists are there, but they are very few in number. They cannot cater to so many people. Sometimes it is our greed and need to earn more and more. We just try to go in those sectors where we earn more. We just do not try to
get involved ourselves in this particular area.
Fulfill our responsibilities towards the society.
So as we have a very less time left with us, we would like to thank Dr. Nilima Asthana for giving her precious time, as well as giving value addition to this particular topic. And I hope that in future sessions also we would be discussing and talking more on children with special need, or we could say in the area of special education we are going to conduct more lectures. Dear friends, if you have any questions or you want to give your feedback regarding this particular lecture, then you can mail us at info.cec@nic.in, and if you want to access this particular lecture, you can access it with the help of YouTube, as we daily upload our lectures for you, so that it becomes convenient for you to access these lectures ample of time. With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you once again.
Thanks.